Hello everyone, welcome to this very special 4-part series premiered on our channel entitled Our Gay Dad. As our current subscribers know from past videos, I was once married to a woman for 17 years and had 3 beautiful children as a result of that relationship before coming out as gay in September of 2006. If you'd like to see my 2-part coming out story, you can click the link in the upper left-hand corner to watch that as well. I proposed this project to my children a few weeks ago and was very excited that 2 of them were able to join me in this video today. They have had a challenging journey after I came out and then the subsequent divorce between me and their mother, but I'm proud and so happy that they have persevered through all the hardships to be where they are today. The journey is not yet over, but we are all well on our way to a better understanding and deeper relationships with each other. This video is part 1 of a 4-part series, hearing directly from my children how it was to have their dad come out as gay within a very strict Christian environment, and the journey they've taken through it all. In sharing our own story, our hope is that we might encourage other families who have gone through or may experience the same scenario in their own lives. If you're not yet a subscriber to our channel, we'd love to have you as a subscriber. Please hit that like button down below as well as the notification bell to get notified of any new content we post. Also, we'd love to hear any questions or comments you may have. So please come along and help me welcome McKenna and Tanner as we share our story with you. So today I'm excited to have 2 out of my 3 kids here with me today to discuss their story of when I came out and their mother and I ended up divorcing. And so they have agreed to come on and think back to those memories and try to tell us what their feelings were, what their beliefs were, what their journey's been like ever since then, and where they are today. Of course, we're sad that their sister couldn't join us today, but we'll catch her at another video, hopefully sometime down the road. So I thought, of course, just for a little background information, for those of you that don't know, I grew up, as well as they did, in an independent fundamental Baptist church background. So if you know anything about that, it's very strict in regards to what you can and cannot do. And of course, being gay was not looked upon favorably, to say it lightly. But so that's kind of where everybody's coming from, just so you know. And I told them they don't need to, sugarcoat anything, just, say from their heart what they were feeling at the time and where, their experience going on, in hopes that maybe it might help somebody out there that's kind of going through a similar circumstance where their mom and dad were married and ended up getting a divorce and their dad coming out as gay. That you've got to imagine that's pretty traumatic for anybody to have to understand and digest. So let's start. I'm going to have them both kind of give a brief introduction of themselves, and I'll start with McKenna. She's my oldest, and so just kind of give a brief introduction of yourself, if you would.
Hi, I'm McKenna. I'm the oldest. I'm 22 years old. I am a junior at a university in Kentucky. I live. I am studying elementary education, and I have been married for almost 4 years now.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Hope you got some of that cut out. I don't know, Tanner, did you hear that?
No.
Okay, hopefully it came through. Okay, Tanner. Tanner's next.
My name is Tanner. I am a senior at a high school in Wisconsin, and I am excited to graduate through this pandemic, but I'm excited for that. Currently working at a few jobs, saving up for college, stuff like that. And yeah, I'm the youngest. So.
Yep, Tanner's the youngest of all 3, and they're all spaced 2 years apart. Talk about planning, right?
I mean, yeah.
But we are, of course, able to do this over the internet, which is really nice because of the events that are going on. And so McKenna's actually coming to us from Kentucky, like she said. Tanner's in Wisconsin, and I'm in Indiana. So we're all across the country today in our discussion. So I'm glad that they could take a little time out to do this with me today. So let's start with back when I came out, which was September of 2006. If you have any memories of that event, and how old you were at the time, and some thoughts that that you remember from that time. McKenna, do you have any memories of that?
Yes, I do. I remember there being a lot of tension around that time between you and mom. Um, I don't remember much other than that, just because I was 9 years old at the time when you did come out. But I remember there was just a lot of secretive conversations and stuff along those lines. I just didn't really know what was going on. But other than that, I was pretty unaffected until we actually left Indiana.
Hmm. Okay. So Tanner, you were a few years younger.
Yeah, I think I was 5 years old. For me, I don't remember very much at all. Pretty much just floated on with what everybody else did, like going to visit and stuff like that. It didn't really affect me as much. I pretty much grew up with it, so it didn't phase
Right.
me as much.
So that at that particular couple of weeks after I came out, you don't really remember any
No,
events or anything there.
no.
I will say for me that within 2 weeks is the time that your mom decided to leave while I was at work, and the family came and packed everything up, um, and then I came home and you guys were all gone. So let's go to that moment. Do you remember? I know Tanner probably doesn't remember anything from there, but do you have any memories, McKenna, of that event? Because that was something that I think affected me more than anything else in this whole process of me coming out. What do you remember?
I was at school that day, and I remember I was in fourth grade, and I remember being picked up by mom in our van, and everything was packed. The van was full, and she told me that we were leaving to go to Wisconsin. And I asked, if she had all my stuff, and she said yes. And I didn't really have any further questions. I don't remember even asking if you were coming, but I remember just thinking I was glad to get out of school. So I
Mm-hmm.
was fine with that trip up to Wisconsin. I was glad to see my family. So that's all I remember from that particular day.
Right, right. And Tanner, you said you don't remember any of that.
No.
No, do you remember? I do remember that within those 2 or 3 weeks after I came out, that I did sit you guys down one night because I had gotten an apartment and was going to be staying in that apartment, and I only stayed there 2 nights before you guys left. So you may not remember much of that, but I do remember sitting you down because I wanted to make sure you knew that I was just going to go over there to sleep and then come back during the day to eat and tuck you into bed, and then go back over there. Do you remember any of that?
I remember you getting an apartment. Um, to me, it seemed like you were there for 2 months. I know that's not right, but in my little head, it felt like it was forever, and apparently it was only 2 days. I didn't even know it was that short.
Right. Yeah, it was only like 2 days that I'd gotten the apartment, and then you guys were gone after that. So yeah,
Hmm.
I
I
know
didn't.
we were always told that you left us, that you were the one who got like an apartment and left us, and then yeah, mom took us up to
Okay.
Wisconsin. So
Yeah, I mean, I can see the semantics of people saying that I left, I because I think coming out kind of gives that impression that I'm leaving the relationship, maybe so to speak. But I didn't necessarily physically leave, only because I got the apartment because I asked your mom what she wanted me to do, and she said, "Well, I don't really envision you staying here." I'm putting it nicely, but so I ended up going and looking for some place just to keep things civil between us during this time, because of course for her it had just um, been a very big blow to her, of course, and um, we cannot make any light of that and what she was feeling at the time, because of course, no doubt it was a tremendous blow to someone that you've been married to for, I don't know how many years it would have been at the time, 15, 14 years, and then to have your husband say that he's gay. So, I mean, of course, I don't minimize her grief and shock in that all as well. So I want to keep that in mind during our discussion. So as the years went on, of course, we were starting to get involved with the courts. They mandated that we have regular visitation, which was ended up being every 2 weeks. And so you guys were living in Milwaukee at the time, and I was, of course, still in Indiana. So do you have memories of those trips through Chicago, getting down to Indiana? I mean, if I know for me, I just am like, we really know that route really well. I think we could drive it with our eyes closed,
Yeah.
right? For as many times as we
Yeah.
did that. So, what do you remember about those trips through Chicago and then coming to see Dad every other weekend? What were you feeling and thinking?
You want to go first? Or...
I remember the trips being very long. I remember I was very wary of the drive. I didn't like the drive. It scared me. Driving through Chicago actually really scared me. And I'm obviously used to it now, but I was very, very nervous to go see you. I was sick to my stomach all the way up until we got to see you. And then I was okay when we got into your car and go with you. But I was a bundle of nerves the whole time because I had obviously heard a lot of negative things regarding you from mom and mom's side of the family. So that kind of made me a little more anxious to come see you a lot of times.
Sure. Okay.
For me, not knowing what Chicago was, like Chicago was just a city, we drove through it. Didn't know how bad it was, didn't know how bad Milwaukee was either, but we didn't live in a bad part anyway. So, but going for the drives was not that bad. I mean, the only downside for me was sitting in the back seat for 8 hours with my siblings, so
Yeah, that was
getting car
tough.
sick, stuff like that. But no, it really wasn't anything different for me because that's just what we did growing up. I don't know how to explain it, but
Right.
it didn't really affect me in a way that like, oh, we have to go make this long trek to go see somebody who's like completely whacked out, and like it
Hmm.
wasn't like that. But just growing up with it, it didn't really affect me.
Right. Okay. Cool. So, I mean, I think we had good visits when you guys would come. I tried to do things where we would go do stuff sometimes as much as we could. I personally remember that when you had to go back, I was in a state of depression. It seems like every time you left, it almost felt like somebody was dying every time. And if you would leave your toys out when I would come back from dropping you off, it would really affect me in a really negative way. So having you not there with me to where I could see you more often was extremely difficult on me as your dad. Um, you know, and I don't know if do you recall those kind of emotions? Did was I missing? I was definitely missing out on events that you had. I don't think I've ever been maybe to one of Tanner's sporting events, and I've gone to a couple plays I think of you guys too, and Tanner's graduation, but of the big events I've been there, but I feel like I've missed out on a portion of your lives growing up that I'll never get back. I mean, do you guys feel some of that as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I remember you expressing that to us, how sad you were when we left. And I remember feeling very, very guilty for that, feeling very sad that I was the one leaving and I knew you were missing out on the day-to-day stuff in our lives that you really wanted to be there for. And I just remember thinking, I knew it wasn't my fault, but that didn't stop me from thinking that it was maybe a tiny bit my fault, but I just felt really guilty with because I knew how sad you were. I knew how depressed that made you after we left.
Right. And then Tanner, did that really disappoint you when I as far as like not coming to some of your events and stuff? I mean, even now that's going on, or was going
Yeah.
before the virus hit, but
Yeah, I mean, not until I was more like 17, 18. I mean, I grew up or I went to high school at another school in Kentucky for three of my 4 years. And, I didn't really enjoy that at the moment either. So I didn't really care if you came or not. But I mean, some stuff I was like, oh, I wish dad came, and it, it it was hard, but I try not to dwell on that because I could get sucked into that to where I'm like, oh, wow, he missed out in my entire life.
Right.
But it's yeah, it wasn't as rough for me, no. But
Just a part of the what we went through is just kind of like our day to day. That's just how it was.
yeah,
Right. Right. Well, and you did eventually get cell phones, which helped the communication ramp up a little better between you and you guys, me and you guys. So that really helped as we went through. Thank you for watching this part of our story. If you'd like to continue, you can click the link above to watch the next part. We hope our story can be an encouragement to those of you out there who may have similar circumstances within your own families, to let you know that it does get better. If you're not yet a subscriber to our channel, we'd love to have you as a subscriber. Please hit that like button down below, as well as the bell notification so you can get notified of new content when we post it. Also, we'd love to hear your questions and comments down below as well. Thanks again for watching.